So you don't get penalized?
Yeah.
Penalized? That's funny, you're all looking for your phone. Oh, it's on the camera.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Is it live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Three o'clock.
Alright, dude, let's do this thing.
Let it rip.
Bye, Hobby. So there are struggles that every shop has that nobody ever talks about. And tonight we're going to get into some stuff that is going to be pretty vulnerable. It's going to be a difficult topic, but we really want to have these talks with you guys like it's me and Travis talking at the end of the day. So, that being said, we're going to be tying that into how the 1% better every day helps us get through projects and different aspects of our lives and allows us to build and get momentum. So, was it last week or this week?
What, this week?
This
This was,
on Monday.
what's today? Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
It was Monday, yes.
So on Monday, you got a text.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that you knew was coming.
Yeah, I mean, you feel it with certain customers, especially when you know their projects haven't been touched for quite a while and you haven't had any contact with them. And of course, I've been working and plugging away at putting things in motion to have progress on the particular project, which is the 61 Impala behind me. And thankfully I had a plan, but I'm not proud of the fact that we haven't touched this car behind us for a couple of years. And so basically he told me, hey, I'm thinking about selling the car. So yeah, it was something that you feel was coming, but yesterday it officially came. And I mean, we've talked about it now, we've sorted it out, we have a game plan. We're not selling the project, we're gonna keep moving, but none of which I'm proud to admit because it's a pride thing and trying to do what you say and move forward with the project, but it's life. I mean.
So you had mentioned the customer had said something about maybe selling the project.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember what the text message said that you got?
It literally said, I'm thinking about selling the Impala.
And what was your initial feeling or like thoughts to that?
Complete defeat. You, especially for me, with this particular project, I had like all these things that I wanted to do for the project. Metal finishing and quarter panel replacement. There's a ton of parts on this car that when we took it on, number one, we didn't know that it had those problems. And number two, we didn't have the tooling once we discovered what the problems were to even fix them the way that I envisioned. And so maybe that's just me being prideful about how I think certain aspects of the car should be repaired. But I let those things hold me up from moving forward with the project. And so when I got that text, it was just like, oh, you know, you're on a race against the clock with you internally, with your customer, to make sure that you meet expectations. And I know that getting that text was, I lost, I mean, in the grand scheme of things. Because sure, the car's still here, sure, we're gonna move forward with it, but I know that I have a customer who's not happy with the project not moving forward. So that stings.
So when we first got the project, what were your thoughts and ambitions and expectations for seeing this thing finished?
Oh man, well, going back, this car is supposed to be at the SEMA show completed like 2 years ago. And we were, at that time, we were only specializing with body and paint for the most part. With, of course, we do patch panel replacements and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say we considered ourselves at that time to be metal shapers. So my vision of this car was, you know, you kind of have to be the visionary and looking at the car from the builder standpoint, from the dreamer, and go, I want this car to be playing ball with the heavy hitters in the industry that have a reputation and a big following where we are just in a backyard. You know, I wanted this thing tricked out to the nines, 1,000 horsepower. We put roadster shop, all suspension underneath it, chassis. We've done a ton of things as far as that stuff goes in the very beginning right out of the gate. But it's coming up with that plan. Like, we didn't know what we didn't know. So, I mean, I wanted to make this thing as nice as I could physically make it. And then that evolved into, you know what, I want to show this car in bare metal polished. Just because I don't ever see a car to that level of quality brought to SEMA Show anymore. There's very few. And I will say guys like BBT Fab that you look up to when they bring a 59 Impala to the show, and that thing looks just so nice in metal. There's a different appreciation for guys that are physically doing this. And so that was where I held myself with this particular project.
So Travis is talking from a business standpoint with a customer car. I think that the guys that are in their garages at home run into these same issues where they get this car and it's going to be this amazing thing, and they tell people and their friends and other people that it's going to be this amazing build, and then they get in their garage when it's just them with the car, and I think they just get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And they pull back. And I think one of those moments for you was this rear quarter. You worked on that thing quite a bit in a few different ways. You want to kind of elaborate like what happened kind of through that process?
So we had this car acid dipped. We got it back. Obviously we chose acid dipping because we didn't want to deal with the warpage from shot peening the metal and blasting and all that stuff. So we took the time to have it shipped to Oregon, get it back, and then we discovered that all these issues that he was having on the car prior to us through other multiple shops saying that they had stripped the car. Number one, we found out it was never stripped. We found out that this whole driver's side quarter was completely smashed, and there was about probably an inch of body filler all the way down from the door through the quarter, and that it had been hit so hard that it actually bowed the quarter panel out. So we had to dissect the whole quarter panel, every rosette weld, to take it off, because you can't just buy any patch panels. And there's probably somebody going, yes you can buy the front section. So we buy the front section. That front section is such a poorly made part that the body lines are round, and then the actual car from the original manufacturer is all nice and sharp. So it was just, again, it was, could we have done it? Sure. We could have just slapped that panel on there, but I didn't want to do that with this particular car. I wanted this thing to be as nice as I could possibly make it.
So where does this kind of go from where we're at right now?
So I think that's the...
You know what, hold that thought. So before we even get into that, let's kind of look back on it, right? So, because we're talking tonight about 1% better, and...
You're almost out of the frame.
No, I got more right there.
Oh.
But 1% better. So where do you think we kind of fell short there? Where could we have...
I think that you, or for me, and I'm sure it goes this way for a lot of other people, we have all these things that we make a mountain out of something that's really not. And so we don't move forward with a project. So fast forward, I've probably invested, I don't even know. no exaggeration, and I'm not just saying this to say it, I probably invested $100,000 worth of tooling and schooling in this shop to be able to move forward on making the panels that we've been making on this car. And so the whole 1% thought is that we're picking away at it, right? It's been picked at, but it wasn't on the priority list because there just wasn't constant communication, which is my fault. And so now here we are moving forward where I realize that we just got to basically shit or get off the pot. So it's kind of a good time because literally, like, as of recent, we have everything that we need to pole max and band saws and, you know, power hammers are on the way. Like, we've invested so much time in schooling and understanding how to metal finish these things out, because it's not as easy as just running a bead through a bead roller and moving forward. But now that we've had the discussion as of Monday, I realize we just need to get on the car and keep moving, and don't let that big picture hold you up. You just gotta find the roadmap, figure out what is the priority items that we need to do, look down the road 10 steps ahead, and just start picking away at it. And next thing you know, you'll have that progress. We have had that progress on every other project in this shop, but the problem with this one was it was the first of those learning curves. And I think people don't maybe start a business, or they don't start their project because they don't know what they don't know, so that holds you back, versus just pulling the trigger and then figuring out what it is you did wrong or you didn't know, and then you just learn from it and move forward. So that is, in my opinion, the incremental process of 1% better every day, just picking away at something in that project to constantly keep it moving forward.
So what good kind of came out of this then? You were talking about how you've bought all these tools and we've changed certain things in the shop, and like even when you have a situation like that, there's things that have happened that are positive.
Sure.
So the tooling, the school, like how much did that come from feeling like you had to get this to a certain level?
It's pretty much all stemmed from this car, to be honest. Every bit of it. Doing what we were doing before this car, I never had a need for a pole max, and I never had a need, you know, we would do it with a bead roller, and we didn't have an English wheel. We literally had, when we started the shop, we had one toolbox. That was it. And one MIG welder that we just slow rolled, and so I think people want all of this satisfaction of, we're just gonna get a business license and turn the lights on, this is gonna be honky-dory, but it's just not. It's not the reality. We all go through the struggles, maybe some worse than others, but I think the persistence to just keep pushing forward. With this project though, this was the only reason that we were doing several classes and trying to better what we do, as well as teach you and everybody else in the shop what we're doing and why we're doing it. So
it's a pretty hard thing to talk about, obviously, right? Your pride and all that stuff, and one of the big things that we were trying to do with this is just open the door on this shop so that you guys know, and nothing's hidden, what happens and what guys go through to get these kind of things moving along. And it's not always pretty, and it's not always fun, and it can be a struggle at times. But we're hoping by sharing this stuff that you guys are like, yeah, you know, I feel that way, but there's things that I can do or think differently to keep moving through like what I'm doing, because we're talking about the 1% better, and I want to kind of talk more about like what that actually means, because it can be a little confusing. Like, all right, 1% better every day, so in 100 days I'm at 100%, the car's done. No, it's not that exactly. So you've had a car that's been sitting in your garage for 2 years and you've never touched it, versus okay, I'm gonna go out there today and I'm gonna pull 2 bolts out of the front fender, and then the day after that, because I know there's 6 bolts, I'm gonna pull 2 more. You got the fender off in a few days. Then you do the same thing on the other side. In a couple of years, you're gonna be way farther than you were
Had you done nothing.
Yes. So even pulling a bolt out of a fender adds up over time, and that's what 1% better every day means. It means we're doing something to push towards a goal in little bites. Sometimes you can't even tell anything is happening, but you're constantly just trying every day to get closer to that goal. And as long as you're trying to get closer to that goal will happen at some point. It's consistency. It's going out and meeting. And one of the things, like you hear people talking about being motivated. Yeah, there's days you're gonna come in the shop and you're gonna be super motivated. Maybe you just got your motor and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to get that thing in. You're excited and you're motivated to do some stuff. But most days, motivation is not gonna be the thing that carries you through getting your project done. It's gonna be that drive to get a couple things done or one thing done every day, and then all those little victories add up to whatever your goal is, that win. And I mean, I don't know if you got some like another analogy, but
I would just say coming up with a plan and having time blocks to where, whether that is you pulled 2 bolts out of a fender like you said, or you're going to take 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, a week, a month, some kind of a plan and some kind of a roadmap, right? So like for me right now, I know what we talked about on this particular car is that March 4th, we're hitting this car full time. I've already hired another guy to come and help me tackle the majority of the heavy fab, because what I struggle with here is just keeping Mike busy and keeping Javi busy with body and paint and the things that they excel with, and as well as teaching them the new things to keep everything moving. So right now I'm basically reverse engineering my game plan on how we're going to execute with this car, and I'm going to have to block out time. I'm going to have a certain amount of time, and if that means that, let's just say we put a guy on this car and I have to pull him off that car, I have to put somebody else in the place of that, and it might have to be myself, which will be the case. So just making sure that we are hitting those marks incrementally. We're not going to see a ton of progress right out of the gate, but we're going to see progress, and really at the end of the day, as long as you're communicating that, whether it's to yourself, your wife, or your customer, it does not really matter. You're making some progress. Some progress will bring fulfillment that will fuel the fire, and I find that a majority of the time, the things that I dreaded doing, that when I just jumped in and did it, I sit back and I'm like, why did I let that hold me back for months, years? I mean, I'm not perfect. Heck, I have a truck in the garage that's been being worked on for 12 years, and it's not done. So that's also something that in 2026, I'm going to try to work on getting time blocking. But I have commitments with this car, and I have to show that things are caught up and we're making progress. And if that fits into the schedule, great. If it doesn't, I have to come up with that plan to start picking away at my own project, because it's like 90% there, and right now it's just a massive expensive paperweight. So everybody else that's probably watching this has some kind of a big expensive paperweight sitting in your garage that is not moving anywhere.
Yeah. Tell us what your paperweights are in the comments. We're curious. So something else while you were talking that's interesting, when you go to the car to take out a couple bolts, and I was being kind of,
I get it,
funny about that, but when you go and you just start, if you just get to the car and you pull out some tools or some ratchets or whatever, once you have that stuff out and you've made it to the car, you're not just going to pull out 2 bolts usually.
Yeah, you usually keep going. I mean, let's back up even farther than that.
Okay.
Maybe your garage looks like you're a hoarder, and half the stuff for the car is buried on top of the car or in the car.
That's what they turn into, freaking more shelving.
Yeah, more shelving. So one thing that I wanted to do when I was learning airbrushing was we bought this property and house, and I knew that it would take me, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes to set up the airbrush and all the paint and everything, only to get a fraction of time, especially when you have 2 little kids, and then you can't get anything done. So I had taken over like the office in our house at that time, set everything up, and that was my dedicated area. That way I could block time to work on this thing for maybe it was 30 minutes, maybe it was 10 minutes. I could jump in, jump out, and that was enough incremental progress to build that. Some other examples would be learning Adobe Illustrator. I had to figure out at the time, I was working for the railroad full time. So this, to back up even further on this place, 1% better has kind of been the motto without even knowing that that was a motto from day one. Because I was doing a normal job, working night shift in LA, driving an hour and a half, working all night, driving an hour and a half or 2 hours home. And so I sat there and thought, well, if I could take the train, I could utilize the time on the train to learn something else. So that's what I did. I got on the Metrolink station, I drove on the train, and then I got on a laptop and learned Illustrator through just a DVD thing, try this and see what works. And that was just incremental progress. I'm trying to utilize the most time that I have in the day, even when I'm at my job, to and from. Otherwise, I'm wasting time sitting in my car not learning anything. So when I was driving and the train wasn't running, I would listen to guys like Andy Frisella or Tony Robbins or something to better yourself in coming up with that roadmap as to how we were going to bridge the gap to leave. And I think I did it for so many years, I didn't even know that I was planning to leave. I was just doing it because there were key things that would trigger to make you want to do more. But you got to have some kind of a want or a plan on whatever it is you guys are trying to accomplish, and just pick away at it. And I think you'll find that you'll get over a couple hurdles, and that momentum will then pick up speed until you get confidence, and at that point you're just a rolling snowball going down a hill.
Yeah. So Elliot, we got Elliot in the comments from Indiana, and he is saying 41 Ford that just thawed out of the snow yesterday. So even if you want to get to your project and it's frozen, that's almost like freezing your credit cards, I guess. You can't do anything until. That's funny. I've never even thought about that. We're not used to that here. It's like, what was it today? 50 something?
It was cold.
Yeah, it was cold for us, but we're not used to the cold. But you guys have some cool projects out there, it looks like, and we're working kind of with the delay. So as we're talking and you guys are commenting, we're kind of getting those a little bit later. So we're trying to get to those. So let's talk about plans, because without a plan, how can you even do the 1% better?
Well, you just got to think about what is it you're wanting to do.
So you have a goal, and then you have to kind of come up with a plan. Otherwise, you're just...
Yeah, otherwise your projects are just sporadic. You're not... You might think you're being productive, but I just had this conversation the other day. If you have 10 million things in your mind that's flying around, but you don't put them on paper and really prioritize what makes the most sense today for you and for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And you have to block out all the other noise that you have and distractions. For me, it's the cell phone. The cell phone, I feel like anymore, is constant. It's ringing. Sure, we're getting busier and things are good on that aspect, but I definitely have days where I would just like to leave it down at the house and block out time and work on these projects. Otherwise, you get interrupted. But if you don't put those visions on paper and come up with this is priority, I need to do this first, and think through that process. Maybe it's multiple projects, maybe it's just one project. Put it on paper and come up with a plan, as to what makes the most sense to do first, second, third. I mean, that's really the basis of, like, when people want to tackle a restoration and they come to the class here at the shop, we sit them down and say, what is your project? Where are you today? What do you know? What do you not know how to know? And what is holding you up from moving forward to the next step? And then we basically write out that roadmap.
What would you say are some of the more common problems people are having that are coming to the class?
I think it's from they don't even want to strip their car until they understand what that roadmap looks like, or lack thereof.
So it's just hard to come up with a plan for something you don't really even understand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're new to cars and new to restoration, you just kind of you would jump into it. I guess the factor there would be, I think it's like running any business, or it's running anything you want to do in life. You don't have to recreate the wheel. There's no secret formula. I think it's kind of like metal shaping, right? So I go to a metal shaping class, and the first thing out of the gate, he goes, everything that you think is magic, unfortunately, I'm going to debunk all of that for you guys, and it's not going to be magical anymore. And that's basically what any of these classes do. Anything you're going to do to better yourself is, as you would call it, the cheat code. You don't have to do this the hard way. You just have to go to somebody who's already done it, and then listen to what they have to say and emulate that exact process.
Yeah. So I think also something, when you don't have a good enough plan, that holds people up quite a bit is when they come to that part of their project where they've done something and they find out it wasn't right, and now they have to redo it.
Yep.
Super discouraging.
Super discouraging. Been there several times.
Yeah. So what would be some advice for somebody that's kind of in that predicament?
You just need to man up and just go backwards and bite the bullet. You could be upset all day long, but if you sit there and resignate and ruminate about how poor whatever happened to you, it's just going to bring in more negative energy with that project, and it's just going to be this constant downward spiral versus literally just cutting out the BS. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to go back and refix and move forward.
Yeah. So we just got a comment in here, and I think it's a good one. So it says, not gonna lie, even with plans and lists on the whiteboard, I still get the holy crap probably kicked out of him. There's still so much left to do, and that motivation starts to slow and stall, and I feel overwhelmed. Dude, we feel overwhelmed in the shop sometimes.
It's every day. I think you have to. I talked about this a while back, and it's mental toughness, right? Because if you don't, I'm trying to think where I was going with this. If you don't put those thoughts and come up with a plan, right? If all those thoughts are just floating around your head and it's constant, the fact that you have it on a whiteboard, in my opinion, you're already a step ahead, because otherwise we could be shooting at a target all different directions behind us, and you're not even going to come close to accomplishing what you want. All that matters is that you came close to where you're trying to get. I already accept the fact that I'm going to come up with a game plan for every single car, and I already know, and I'm accepting that nothing on that list is going to go as planned. Literally nothing. And the fact that you understand that from the get-go, I mean, the fact that we're going to start a business and start some whole new venture, I already know. We're going to have hurdles, we're going to have things that we're not even thinking about, but we just have to start. And we are going to come up with a game plan, and we're going to shoot for that. And if we even get close, it's better than being completely backwards and not having any plan at all. So I would say don't let the things that you screw up or miss or whatever goes wrong hinder you. It's far better than not having it on the whiteboard and not even having a plan.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's just about taking action.
Yeah.
Not sitting there, not letting the problem get crazier in your head and crazier in your head to where it's this huge mountain now that you can't even get over. So just take action. Just get to the car. Just whatever your goal is, do something every day to take that action and get closer. Even if it feels like I'm doing hardly anything, you're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise it just sits, and sitting is not good not for your mental health on the car, not for your customer, not for your project, your business, whatever it is. So come up with something and just start picking at it. And if it goes south, figure out how to make it better and to move forward. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. I mean, we'll go back to like this Impala. I had these big plans of I wanted the fit and finish to be polished to a mirror in metal. I wanted to bring it to the show. Here we are. I have limitations on, I'm sure, budget. I'm sure time. And I can't do what I want to do in my mind. And that's not fair to my customer. So we're going to do this car to the best of our ability and we're going to move forward. But I mean, to metal finish a car to the level that I want, you're going to turn a $500,000 car into a over $1 million car easily. So it doesn't, I always say, is it worth the squeeze? So don't let certain things hang you up. Think about, is it really worth it at the end of the day? Because like I think about my truck. I've been building this truck for 12 years, probably more. It's so close to being a runner that it's retarded. But because I want certain things to be a specific way, I just flat won't touch it. And so now here I am. I built this thing. We started building this thing 12 years ago in plan to have an off-road toy to take my kids out. Well, now I got 2 boys that are 4 and 5, and it's still not running. And if I keep procrastinating more, they're not even going to fit in the seats that I put in the back of this thing. So this is where I have to come to a crossroads now and come up with whatever it is I'm going to come up with game plan wise, try to be working smarter, not harder, and just move forward with something. Maybe that means that I don't build a full steel dash. Maybe I just put a fiberglass one in. Again, is it worth the squeeze? Does it really matter? Does it really matter that I metal finish this car? No, it doesn't. Because even if I metal finished it, you're still going to skim coat the whole car end to end. So does it really matter? No. It's for bragging rights. And I'm going to swallow my pride with stuff like that. And if I want to do that, I'll do it with my own project, like the Cadillac or something that maybe has a better start than something that was as rough as this car is.
So I think in everything we're talking about, there's a common ground there where we're not setting up realistic expectations. So when we're looking at things and we want that perfection, how do we balance that? Like, so realistically, there's no such thing as a perfect car. There's something in every single, well, maybe there is, I don't know. Is there a perfect car?
No. I was just, you said a word that lately has been kind of a trigger.
Oh.
And it's balance.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's a such thing as balance. I think you have to literally look at everything that's on the table and then plan for what's going to take priority and what's not. And that is quote unquote balance. I don't think there is this happy medium balance between everything. I think you just have to figure out what it is you want, take it.
So going back to your truck, if you're done with that thought.
Yep.
How are you going to get that thing done in time for your boys to enjoy it? Will it ever be that thing that you had envisioned, or are you okay with stepping back with some things to just get it done? Like, what does that look like?
I would say, because that one doesn't, I mean, like it kind of has a timeline because my kids are getting big, but on the other hand, I have a Jeep. So does it really matter? For me, in doing what I envision with that particular project, and because it's me, I think I'm going to stick to my game plan of making it as nice as I'm going to plan to make it. I'm just going to, like I said, I think that's that whole balance thing, right? I do not want to deviate from that plan. So my plan is to take action and do it. I mean, we just bought a power hammer that we don't have yet. It's being built. My plan is to expedite all the metal shaping that has to happen on that truck as soon as we have a power hammer. And that's going to be the test bed for that, because I'm not a power hammer guy, don't claim to be, but that's what we're going to test it with. So
what would you say to somebody that's doing work in their garage that has set out to do a show car that is struggling?
then you just need to come up with a roadmap and start picking away at it. I mean, let's talk about if you want show car, right? Let's just use, you're going to TIG weld it or MIG weld it. You got a crossroads. You got to pick one. Well, if you want to be adamant like I am about all this, because that is the standing point that I'm making, is if you want this bad enough, you need to sit on the bench and time block and come up with, I'm going to sit here for an hour a day, an hour a week, whatever that is, and I'm going to weld coupons together until I nail that every single time. And I do not deviate from that plan until I have done it. I think a lot of people hold back and they say, well, this guy's just gifted, or I just don't know how to do what he does. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm just stubborn enough that I've just kept beating my head against the table.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I see newer generations that they want to, maybe it's they want to TIG weld, right? And then they just don't ever practice. It would be like buying a gym membership and you don't go to the gym. You can buy the tools all you want, but if you don't start practicing with them, you're never going to do anything with them. Mm-hmm. You have to take action. That's why I don't think there is balance. You just need to figure out what is a priority to you guys and just do it. Quit making excuses, because really, outside of coming up with a plan, everything else is just an excuse. And that's the truth. Your glass is either half full or it's half empty, and it's always going to be empty.
Yeah. So Phil just gave us a comment, House of Chop. Process over product, got to get the reps in. And that totally reminded me of something I was thinking about this morning. So not to get into like gym talk and like all of that stuff, but if you have never worked out a day in your life and you go to the gym and you see a guy lifting a ton of weight, there's no way you're going to go over there and start lifting the same weight that guy has. He's worked for years and he's gone through those little changes and slowly moved up, being there every day. It's the same thing with this. You have to get the reps in. You have to hit those walls. You have to get through those problems, because that's the only way you're going to get to the harder problems and be able to get over those.
Yes.
So Phil, that's a great point. Get the reps in.
And get the reps in no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Maybe that's as simple as just picking up a hammer and dolly. Maybe that's buying QuickBooks. Maybe that's going to the gym, because quite frankly, especially now, I mean, if you're putting in the work and doing the reps, just as let's say as the gym, right? We always say, well, I'm going to work on the business and I'm going to make this better. You aren't even going to show up for the business with your right hat on, because you're not in the right mindset of that particular issue.
Hey, come be on our live with us.
You got visitors.
Yeah. Travis's wife is in the house. Come on over here. Come on over here. Come on, you got to come give him a kiss on the cheek. Come on. Everybody wants to see you now. I'll turn the camera. Come on. Oh, she's flustered. Never mind. She's running. She's showing up.
I'm like, where is the camera?
It's right there.
It's right there.
Hey, y'all.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. So yeah, where were we?
I don't know. That was quite the
Oh.
entrance.
Just putting your guys' health first. I mean, I have never done this. I've never been good at this, but I think I'm going on 8 months now of just physical, going to the gym and putting myself first. Everything that you do after that is going to be better. If you come up with the plan, there is no right time. There is no balance. You're going to say that you're going to do it tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it's physical fitness. It does not matter if it's the hammer and dolly, the TIG welding, the car. It really does not matter. None of it. If you're not physically doing whatever it is you want to do, it is an excuse. And that is what I have learned in the last year, that you start realizing that the more you do the reps, the more that anything is possible, because you start gaining confidence in every single thing that you do. I mean, prime example, you didn't even do cars prior to coming here. And now you do freaking high level, crazy show quality type work. Like, none of us, and how long have you been here?
Oh, man.
7 years?
Going on 7 years, yeah.
Going on 7 years. Incremental progress. He didn't come in and within a year I had him doing show cars. And anybody that comes to his class, the goal is that we just take you wherever you are and we make you better when you leave and have an idea of what to practice to become better. What you guys do with it is completely up to you. What I do with my trainer is completely up to me. I can't pay for the membership and expect to look like my trainer. I have to do the work. So there is no balance. You just have to do it.
I like to think that I've made Travis better too.
Yeah, every bit of it.
Okay.
Every bit of it.
Well, one question here at the end. How do you handle not taking on too many projects? He doesn't. He doesn't.
I'm getting better about it.
Yeah. I like to call them his stray dogs.
Yeah, he always tells me don't let stray dogs in. And like, you know, you see that this car is not going to need that much work. Let's just take this one in, we'll knock it out. And they almost never. I will say this to that. I feel like you yourself, no matter what your issue is or whatever you're continually doing where you feel like you're going backwards, if you don't stop and reflect on yourself or that person and look at every aspect of that, whatever it is, you're never going to learn from it anyway. So if you know you're acknowledging the fact that you're taking on too much work, you need to draw the line in the sand and make a point that you're not going to let X come in the door until this one is done. And I think we are at that right now. We're like, we physically can't let anything else come in. There is no more room in here for not anything else to come to the door. So
So the answer is when you run out of room.
the answer is, if you think you have a problem, address the problem and reflect on that
Yeah.
problem.
And one last thing I want to cover is Zach got on here from our last class.
What's up, Zach?
And he said that the class road mapping on these cars has really helped his shop.
Good.
So there are good things coming out of that class. If you haven't been to one, we hope to see you at one. You can go to Sylvester's Customs. Fancy.
In case you guys are wondering, all the misspelled words,
I don't misspell anymore.
I can spell.
I don't misspell anymore.
For the record.
I'm a good speller now.
Yeah, two.
T-O-O.
Uh-huh.
All the time. I changed it.
Yeah, go back. All the videos that are misspelled. Not me.
I do it for the
But he makes me better.
ratings. So, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate all the interactions we had. And we will be doing this, what do you say, next Wednesday?
Well, did we get a
again?
better turnout today at this time?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, this is going to get posted, so if you guys have specific time slots that you're thinking may do better, comment. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Talk about what it is you guys are struggling with. All of these things give us different ideas to come up with make videos. We're going to continue the TIG series video Sunday?
Yep. Sunday we'll release another video at 6 a.m. our time.
Pacific Standard Time. So, we're trying to give you guys incremental things to make yourself better 1% every day, every week, whatever that is. Small progress builds bigger gains.
Yep. Get your reps in.
Get your reps in.
We'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.